With Andrea Nicolas at Glenelg. Andrea, it's a frightening situation.
It is, Jane. The rising waters here at the Padawalunga have definitely sent locals into panic mode. The path I'm standing on is completely submerged and water's lapping up near the benches in what's usually the sitting area. The council's recruited the help of emergency services volunteers who've been frantically filling sandbags and delivering them to properties and dropping them near drains most at risk. The water's been rising by around 15 centimetres an hour. The lake level's currently around 1.4 metres, but if it reaches 1.6, it could spell disaster. In 2003, water inundated homes.
A foot into the house, but we're hoping it won't.
Thought I'd come home from work and so hopefully support the guys, but they tell me they've got it all on the hand, so let's fingers crossed.
Now, high tide has already passed here, so it's hoped this is as bad as it gets. But if the severe weather forecast brings more heavy rain, it could be a race against the clock. John?
Now let's go to the Barossa Valley to Andrea Nicolas. Andrea, people are preparing for the worst up there, I understand.
They are, Jane. We're here at Tanunda where residents are still weighing up whether to evacuate. You can see the North Para River raging behind me. This is normally a small creek. It's John Fickner's backyard and he says he hasn't seen it like this since '83. It's just as bad at nearby Nuriutpa where a man had to be rescued from his car this morning near Light Pass Primary. Another man had to abandon his four-wheel drive because rescuers couldn't get to him in time.
We come up here, it wasn't too bad, and it just got deeper, and it just, we pretty much sunk where the meter sign is, and it's flowing a lot more than this. If we were to jump out, it would have taken our feet from underneath us. So CFS chucked us on the truck, and when we pulled it out, it was CFS.
There was also trouble here at Tanunda in the early hours. At the caravan park, people had to be evacuated with fears that the creek was rising and would flow into their caravans and tents. So it's a big problem here, but the biggest issue at the moment is Turretfield Dam. It's at 75 metres and rising. If that overflows, we could see big problems in Gawler in a couple of hours. Jane?
7 News reporter Andrea Nicolas is in Adelaide this morning. Andrea, what's the biggest concern for emergency services at the moment?
Well, Nat, the biggest concern is this wild weather that's approaching at the moment. As you can see, it's been steadily raining here and a severe weather warning for damaging winds has been issued across most of the state. There are also flood warnings in place, including for Adelaide. The SES has already had more than 1,000 call-outs in the past 24 hours since the storm first hit, and that's only expected to rise. We've already seen trees down, and so they certainly have their work cut out for them today. Now, yesterday's blackout was caused when damaging winds near Port Augusta destroyed 3 transmission lines and knocked more than 20 towers out of the ground. That essentially tripped the system and shut down the entire network as a precaution. Now, the Premier's been accused of not getting the power mix right in South Australia, particularly from Nick Xenophon, but Jay Weatherill says he's just playing politics.
Well, it was a catastrophic weather event. What it did is it ripped out about 22, probably even more, high voltage pylons. At the same time, we had about 80,000 electricity strikes through lightning. Some of them hit various power stations and other parts of the assets. All of those things combined to actually bring the system down.
But we're not out of the woods yet, Nat. We're still in for more wild weather and possibly more outages later today.